Speaker this morning, one of our amazing healers, mediums, and teachers, Trish Smith. Trish was born with the gifts to see spirits and started seeing them from a very early age. She's been a practicing professional psychic medium since the 1980s and has lived in Casablanca area for many years. Trish lived here in the camp just down the street where she sees clients regularly. Please join me in welcoming Trish Smith, everybody.
Thank you, Cynthia. I really love serving in Cassadaga. This temple is very special to me. I remember student days where we did a student message service on, I think it was the third Wednesday night or something, and there at that time, probably 35 students, I think there were. It was really huge and amazing, and we had a lot of fun. Being a medium takes a lot of practice. It's a 4-year degree here for our curriculum, but it's well needed. And if you want to be a good medium, you have to be a good listener, and not just to spirit, but to the client. And that's what I'm getting now is communication. And it's ironic the way spirit works, because Sandra Lord in Lyceum today gave a really great talk, and it also referred to communication and personal responsibility. In the last few days, I've been getting that bouncing around my head because spirit likes to work with me through them channeling, telling me what to do. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to say until I'm at the podium. Other times I get little bits of information a day or so in advance. And it's great because it makes me pay attention, and that's part of communication. And do we always recognize that? So often when people are speaking, we're so conscious of what we want to add to it that we're not giving it 100% of our attention. And the reason communication, I believe, is coming up so much in the last couple of days for me is, I'm sure I'm not the only medium that has been dealing with this, but probably 3 out of 5 clients have had families separate or have dramatic difficulty in being around each other because they see things so differently. And it's gotten so bad that some are fearful to even try and communicate with the others because they will be so rigid on their beliefs on how things should be done. And I've noticed that our community, or any community, is just a microcosm of what's actually going on around the world. George Harrison was great in bringing over all those different names of God, because depending upon who you're reading, it's either 78 names of God or 112 names of God. But it's all the same source, isn't it? So does it matter what your culture or your belief system calls it? Because it's the same entity. And that's what's important. Because you're connecting to that belief with your name. But does that mean that other names are wrong? How do you know? They came from somewhere. Maybe God told them to call them that because that was more natural for the fluidity of their language. So communication is not just speaking, but it's listening, writing, and trying to understand and make a connection with others. Because that's what communication is for. And when we have correct communication, it's the first step towards understanding and accepting others, isn't it? Quite often we're mirroring what we're feeling inside, and that comes out of us. Because maybe we were having a bad day, maybe we were feeling misunderstood, maybe we were feeling like nobody's listening to me. So instead of stepping back and taking a breath and getting centered, we just snap off. Now, sometimes it's important to speak your truth, but it's how you go about it that's important, isn't it? Because one of the things spiritualism, not just telling us to accept responsibility, but it's the golden rule too, and the natural law of cause and effect. So if we continue to spout off, people are going to shut us off, aren't they? Because they're going to go, oh boy, here she goes again. And they're not going to want to listen. And that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to accomplish, isn't it? And when we're feeling that way, don't we also have a tendency to shut somebody else off? Because inside we're feeling that impatience, that unacceptance or insecurity. So we have to learn to get ourselves in alignment. We have to learn to align our feelings, our emotions, our words, our intentions, all mind, body, spirit, and emotions. And that's the only way we can get things manifesting in our lives. Because when we do that, we're really connecting, and we're really listening, and we're coming from a higher vibration. Because it doesn't matter how many letters you have before or after your name. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank or not. Doesn't matter what side of the tracks you live on, the color of your skin, or anything else. What matters is what's inside. Because the universe doesn't care about the other things. And when we are in alignment, when our intention is for the highest and best, that's when we start growing and learning. That's when acceptance and understanding and divine love come into our life. And that's when people are comfortable and they can grow and they can be themselves, and we can have unity and cooperation. But all that stems from communication. All that stems is you erase all the insignificant things and open up to accepting others having a different opinion or a different lifestyle or a different culture or whatever, because we're all the same. And spiritualists and New Agers are going, oh, we are one, we are one. But how often have you heard somebody that goes, we are one, make disparaging remarks? It's got to be in here. It can't just be voice. If you don't really believe in it, then you're not going to be in alignment. And then you're not going to be able to manifest what you want, because the universe is going to keep seeing, oh, wait, one thing is being said, but another is being felt, and another is being thought. So you're going to just come back with chaos or disorientation or whatever that is not going to be in alignment with what you want in your life. And you're not growing in any way. I've often had clients say, well, you know what, everything's going wrong. And I says, well, how come you stopped meditating? Huh? Yeah. You used to, last time I saw you, your aura was great. I could tell that you were meditating. Could tell you were journaling. I could tell you were listening. Because sometimes there's so much chatter, they think they're meditating, but they're not. Because if you've got chatter going on, you're not connected. But they said, well, I stopped. Everything was going great. And I says, I told you, if you stop doing this, things are going to go haywire again. They started straightening out, and you started having what you wanted in your life because you were following spiritual practices. That's something you do for life. It's not going to take hours and hours a day. So if you want your life to be abundant, spiritually, financially, health-wise, or in any way, you've got to be in alignment. Otherwise, you're going to miss the boat. Well, I don't know. I really don't have time for that. And I says, yeah. Well, how's that working out for you? Your life giving you what you want? Isn't that why you're here? Because it's a mess? Again? Oh, okay. So it's your life. If you want things to work out, give yourself maybe a half hour, 45 minutes a day, broken up, 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Aren't you worth that? Isn't your family worth that? Isn't it worth it for you to look forward and receive what you want? Or are you going to just keep saying, I don't have time? And then everything is going to be out of alignment. You're going to be living in chaos, and you're not going to be happy, and you'll be complaining about not getting what you want. And that's communication with God. Because when we're praying, we're asking. When we're meditating, we're listening. And that's where we get our power and strength from. Because when we listen, we can be taught and guided. So give yourself that gift of communication, and it'll make the people around you happier because you're listening. And when you have problems, maybe you can try the Native American talking stick ceremony. I recommend that a lot to people. And if you're not familiar with it, do a Google and find out what it is. It's a great way to learn how to be quiet and listen. And I thank you all, and I hope you got something out of this. Thank you.